Hi guys, welcome back to another Q&A. I'm sorry that my light sucks right now. Oh, that's kind of better. Ooh, that's better. Oh. Today I'm going to be doing the throwback Q&A. Yay! I literally went to so many websites and I went through all the pictures on my computer and was like, what was I in love with when I was a child? Because there were some songs I remember that I listened to when I was a child. There was only some toys that I played with that I remembered playing with. So I looked back and was like, oh, I remember playing with that. That's included in this throwback Q&A. I have like questions and I also have notes. So if I'm looking down, that's why I'm looking at all my answers. And it's a mess because I don't have a lot of room to write down all my favorite things from this throwback. I'm excited to get into this video.
I'm gonna take you on a ride, on a ride. I'm gonna take you on a ride. I'm gonna race you to the sky, to the sky. I'm gonna race you to the sky.
The first question is, what year were you born in? In 98. I'm a millennial. I don't know what that means, but here I am, born in 98. Do you have any pictures of yourself when you were younger? I'll probably stick a picture of me when I was younger. I was cute. I don't remember a lot. Like, in my Wisconsin days, the first 10 years of my life. I remember the past 10 years of my life, but not the first 10. I remember the first 10 years of my life. I'm 20, by the way. I remember the first 10 years of my life and like a little bit, but not everything that happened. But the past 10 years I remember way more than the first 10 years of my life. What TV shows did you grow up watching? A lot! So I have Dora the Explorer. I was not a big fan of Diego, so that's not included. Blue's Clues. I was not a fan of the Blue's Clubhouse or whatever that was called, where he was like animated, like more animated, or was he was a puppet in the other one. So Blue's Clues I loved. H2O, who remembers H2O? I grew up with that one, and since it's on Netflix, there was some episodes I didn't actually watch, so I was happy that H2O was on Netflix so I can relive my childhood through that. But this next show is something that I wish was on Netflix, even though they were constantly changing the cast. So I only watched like one season of the show, and it's Saddle Club. Who remembers that show? But Luke Hemsworth and Chris Hemsworth were on that show. If you don't know who Luke Hemsworth is, he's the forgotten Hemsworth brother. Because we got Luke, Liam, and Chris. Luke's the forgotten brother. Who knew that? I did. I also watched iCarly. I grew up with that. Even though that was kind of later. That was kind of later in life that I watched iCarly. But it was still a childhood show. I watched Jimmy Neutron a lot. Oh, Tom and Jerry was another show that I watched. I almost forgot about Tom and Jerry. That was the cat. Bear in the Big Blue House. Who remembers that show? I grew up on that show. I love that. I wish Hollywood Studios still had that show instead of Disney Junior. Except no kids probably know what Bear in the Big Blue House is now. I love that show. Caillou. Who remembers Caillou? It's still being played on PBS Kids. If you guys watched Caillou recently, go watch it on PBS Kids. It's probably on right now. Lazy Town. That's another one that I watched. Little Bill I watched. Backyardigans. Who remembers Backyardigans and Little Bill? I do. Another one that's not on this list is Arthur. I also grew up with Arthur. I didn't watch it as much, but I watched Arthur. And the last show that I have on this list is Rugrats. I watched it when they were younger. I did not watch the TV show of the Rugrats. I did not watch the teenage Rugrats, but I watched the baby Rugrats. When they were teenagers, that was stupid. That was really, really stupid. What did you want to be when you were younger? A veterinarian or a singer? Those were my two jobs, and as I grew up, I fell out of both of them. That's it. Story done. What were your favorite things to play with? This is another very long list of favorite things that I grew up playing with. It was hard to find stuff that I grew up playing with. I will probably have little icons in either corner of pictures of me with some toys that I had, so you guys know what I'm talking about, because some things are going to be kind of hard to explain when it comes to toys that I played with. What is it? Bratz. I played with Bratz. No one probably remembers Bratz. They are not as popular as they used to be. Bratz are still available for sale and purchase in some stores, but Bratz are not that popular. And I was obsessed with Barbies, and I always played Barbie with my sister. Ooh, dress up was something I did with my sister a lot. I forgot about dress up, but that's not exactly a toy. I played with Polly Pocket, but not like the super little mini Polly Pockets, like the bigger Polly Pockets that were like this big, not this big. It's for pictures, I guess. Another one, Winx. I did not have a picture of myself playing with Winx, but they're Winx fairies. I will love those toys. I love playing with Winx. Littlest Pet Shop. Of course, Littlest Pet Shop is still a thing. It's probably, I don't know if it's more popular now or it's less popular. It's all LOL now. I feel like that's a new Littlest Pet Shop, but I had so many Littlest Pet Shops. Another one, American Girl. American Girl was so much better back in the day, and they actually were way better. What was the last one, like Paige? The last American Girl was named Paige, I think. That's what I remember. But American Girl has gone downhill in the past few years. They're just not as good. Another one, an ankle jump rope. Who remembers that? Where there's like a ring, and then there's a ball connected to it, and then it goes around your ankle. I don't have a picture of me playing with that either, but I'll insert a picture of what an ankle jump rope looks like. I was obsessed with that. Eventually, my foot got way too big to fit inside the ankle jump rope, so I haven't had one since I was like 8. But I want an ankle jump rope again so I can relive my childhood and exercise more with just that. Webkins. Who remembers Webkins? I mean, they still sell Webkins, but the only place where I've seen Webkins is Hallmark. They're so much better quality than the ones that I had. My very first one was a frog, and I named it Happy. It's weird that I remember that, but the only reason why I remember is my second cousin gave it to me for Christmas. That's the only reason why I remember what my first Webkins. I had like about 60 at one point. Then I kind of just fell out of the Webkins craze. I donated maybe 75% of all my Webkins to a girl that doesn't really have a whole lot of toys, so most of them went to her, and like the other 25% went to Goodwill, and my brother has some as well, so it's cool. So the last 25% is like Goodwill and ones that my brother kept. And then what's next? Pretty Princess. That was a game. That was a jewelry game. I didn't really know how to play it. I just took out all of the princess stuff in the box and I dressed up with them. And then another thing was an online game called Bella Sarah. No one probably knows what this game is. It's kind of like a trading card game, because you would buy a pack of cards, like baseball cards kinda, but they have horses on them. And you would go to this website called Bella Sarah, and you would use the codes, and you would interact with the horses that you had. And lots of repeats. I hated having repeats. I had maybe 200 to 300 cards at one point, I think. I don't think I had 300. I had like maybe 200 or less cards for Bella Sarah, and eventually gave them to my cousin, and I did not know what she did with them. But she probably threw them away at this point. But that's what happened. I fell out of it. There's 3 more things that we're going to be talking about. There was a marble game that I was obsessed with, where you stick the marble in the top of a tube and then it goes all down all the tubes. Again, I have a picture of it. And then I also have a train set that I haven't pulled out in a while, where you connect the tracks to make a whole ton of things, and then the train runs on a battery, and the train goes all the way around. I still play with it. We still have it. We still have the marble game as well. Just, we haven't pulled them out in such a long time. I feel like I should make a video of, like, throwback to my childhood. This is what I still have 15 years later. And then I also have, like, a little, like, connecting roller coaster. It's, like, little, like, kinetic type things that build a roller coaster. It has never worked. I mean, we would build it. It would take, like, almost a week to put the whole thing together. Again, I can't build it because I have dogs, and they'll eat it. I also have a cat that might eat it because she's a little crazy catten. She's a kitten, not a catten. But the roller coaster took about a week, and then we'd play with it for a day, and then we'd take it all down. Because it never worked. It would take forever, and it just would not work. And those are all the toys that I grew up playing with. There was definitely a lot more things that I loved playing with. Because I remember having a My Little Pony, old, like, house type thing with a balloon. And I have no picture of that. It's like the old My Little Ponies before the Friendship is Magic stuff. They've aged a lot between the year 2000 and the year 2018. If you guys look up old My Little Ponies, they're not Friendship is Magic My Little Pony. What's the most embarrassing thing I remember doing? Well, my grandparents had lounge chairs, and there was special cushions for them. And when they weren't using the cushions, they were in the garage. So I would bring them in from the garage when it was too cold outside, and I would set them up around the house. And I would be, like, in a kennel waiting to be adopted, and I would pretend to be a dog in a kennel. I did that until I was like 10, maybe 11. I moved to Las Vegas when I was 10. I did it, like, forever. Hello! Ah! Children! No! No! Help! Help me! Ah!
Give me it back!
I don't have it! I don't have it!
Then who has it?
Pete does! No! He has it!
What does he have then? What does he have, Paige?
A toothbrush! Why did you put pajamas in here? 30 songs you loved as a child. I'm gonna list off more than 3, so you guys know what my favorite songs were when I was a child. Suck Up the Sun by Sheryl Crow. Picture by Sheryl Crow. Complicated by Avril Lavigne. I'm With You by Avril Lavigne. Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani. Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. Who remembers that one? Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears. What is this one? Okay, And the Party Started by Pink. And I don't know what the other song on this list is. What was one funny thing you dressed up as for Halloween? I'm gonna try to talk over my dogs, they're fighting. But one funny thing I dressed up as for Halloween, I was a cat and I was a witch. Hi. Was there any funny thing that I dressed up as for Halloween, besides a cat and a witch?
Anything funny?
Yeah.
A cat wasn't funny and a witch wasn't funny. It was cute.
Like the One Direction
You were little.
costume? One Direction costume that I had?
That was a little funny. You've never really done anything funny.
Yeah.
The One Direction thing, though.
Yeah.
What was one weird thing you used to do as a child?
Wait,
Talking to my webkins? No. One weird thing you used to do as a child. You used to... Your blanket was your pink. And your nook was your knee. And so when you slept over by your Uncle Kent and Aunt Cheryl's house, I forgot to tell them that your blanket was your pink and your nook was your knee, and you couldn't go to sleep without your pink and your knee. And they were like, what the heck is a pink and a knee? And this was before texting and cell phones and everything.
Oh.
So they were befuddled. Yeah.
Okay. What's the scariest thing you remember that happened to you when you were younger? And I said falling out of the bunk bed.
Yeah. That was pretty scary. What did you want to be when you were younger? You always thought you were going to be a professional singer.
I said a vet too.
You never wanted to be a vet. You wanted to be a professional singer.
Yeah.
And your favorite things to play with, you like dress up
Yeah.
and Barbies and Bratz dolls.
Yeah.
And
Polly
Polly
Pocket.
Pockets.
Littlest Pet Shop, American Girl, the ankle jump rope, Webkins.
No.
I play with Webkins sometimes.
The most embarrassing thing you remember doing? Pretending to be a dog.
Yeah, at the grandparents' house, where I would set up the cushions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jax. Come here.
No, baby.
I wanna soak up the sun. Get to it.
Go get on your video. Go say, hey.
So the scariest thing that happened to me was falling out of a bunk bed. If you guys haven't heard that, that was the last question. And I was spending the night at my aunt and uncle's cabin in northern Wisconsin. In the middle of the night, I was on the top bunk and I fell out, and the wood on the side broke. I hit my head against the side table, and I had a giant, really bad black eye for a really long time. It would not go away, and my aunt and uncle did not tell my parents. My parents had to figure it out the very hard way, and my aunt and uncle did not tell my parents about it. They did not call them, did not text them. My parents were really mad, but they didn't tell them, and they were also like, what happened? Keep telling us the story. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, they thought that I broke something right here under my eye. It was this side, by the way, my right eye. And they thought that I had broken something. They took me to the hospital a couple times to get checked out. It was not broken. It's just taking a really long time to settle down. And that was it. So, that was it. And that's the end of this throwback Q&A. I had to cut up all of the parts that my brothers were in this video because they were misbehaving a lot, and I did not want you guys to see that. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. You guys can comment down below what your answers are. And this template was created by YT Talk. This video is not sponsored by them, but if you guys want this template, you guys can go over to yttalk.com. I love making this video, and I'll see you guys very soon with another video in a couple days. Bye, my chicken nuggets.